delighted. We could think of no one better
Well, it's kind
to open our brewery. Of course, it's only the second opening. You probably weren't around for the first one, which was in 1765. But it's good that we have reopened it, and I would like to pay particular tribute to Gren and his team, because they have been brewing away. And I know you've been hugely helpful to us. You came and advised us. They're up to capacity. Selling everything they can.
Well, Chairman, thank you. Councillor Asher, lovely to see you here, and ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's quite unusual actually to go to a brewery, having been in the brewing industry for 43 years, with four different breweries over that time, to turn up in a uniform in what is a working environment. But I'm about to go and present a Queen's Award for Enterprise up in Blackbush. But anyway, I think it's very important I should be dressed correctly for Gilbert White. I've watched with great interest to what's been going on at Gilbert White since I was first asked to be a vice patron here by the lovely Rosemary Irwin, who we all miss hugely, and the huge amount of work that she did to develop this museum and the start of these buildings and conversions, and then with current Chairman Carlin taking over that mantle and following it through is fantastic. And I think Gilbert White has such a future. And indeed, I came here for lunch in the summer in one of the few little windows we were allowed to stop and have lunch in the garden. And I was really impressed by the quality of the food, the beer that I tried, which was fabulous, and indeed the whole staff. Everyone, I thought, were terrific ambassadors for this museum. And so I would like just to take this opportunity to thank you all for what you've done over, some of you, over many years for the museum. But of course we're here for the brewery, and I did have a very good look round, and I did ask a few questions. I promise I won't ask them again today. But I was fascinated because at the turn of the last century, there were hundreds and hundreds of breweries in the country. Every town had their own brewery. And then as you went through the sort of 1940s, 50s, 60s, they then all merged, amalgamated, closed. And we ended up, when I joined the brewing industry in '79, with really 7 big breweries and a few what were then called micros, probably 20 odd. Move the clock on another 25 years or 30 years, and suddenly we've got over 1,000 micros and not really any big breweries left, which are British owned. There are 1 or 2 owned by international brewers. And take down here Alton, for example, which is where I first started when it was Courage. Alton was the centre of brewing because of the water and also the hops that were grown all around this part of Hampshire. Some of you will probably remember the hop fields we had here. And it was really, I mean, Alton had, I think, 3 very major breweries, certainly 1 when I was there. And sadly, there are none left. So actually, you are filling very big shoes here, because I started this part of the world. I'm not sure I'm going to volunteer to do a brewing shift, because I think I've forgotten what I should be doing. But I do wish you and your team every success. The 4 beers you gave me were very, very good indeed. I had one that I was particularly pleased with. And I'm sure that with the future of bottled beer now, you'll do exceptionally well. So normally when I open buildings, I've often never seen them, and that's quite embarrassing because you can't really talk about the building when you open them. And I often wonder how royals do it, because they do it, and they often have to imagine what it's like. I am pleased that I have been in there, and I was very impressed by the plant, and so it gives me enormous pleasure.
Yeah, just a very firm jerk.
A very firm jerk. Formally open the brewery here.
Hey.